New homes, new neighbours, and a new battleground, the parking spot. Less parking can encourage public transport and active travel, but in some areas it's becoming a source of tension and conflict. In Knockline in Dublin, all along this residential street, there are traffic cones. Lots and lots of traffic cones.
But these aren't being used for roadworks. These cones are being used by the residents here to stop the people living in a new development adjoining it from parking on this road.
Cones out is the first response, I suppose, where every evening we'd get cones out before kind of rush hour parking. So from 4 o'clock onwards, you'll see lots of cones. You'll see lots of wheelie bins put out 7 days a week, just to try and hold space outside of your home, so that when you come back from work, it's not a case of trying to have to park, you know, a mile away from the house.
Spaces are at a premium since this development was built next door. Parking in the new scheme is limited, there's less than one spot per apartment, and it's expensive. Tenants are charged €600 a year for a permit. Those who don't pay get clamped.
They don't have enough space, but they charge for their space. Whereas on Ayr Road, it's effectively free to park your car. It's a free for all. It's caused lots of stress. It's caused arguments in the estate. It's caused things like stickers or nasty letters being left on cars. I'm aware of cars having tyres let down. I'm aware of cars that have been vandalised. Not something that anybody wants to live with.
Homes here have driveways, but there are families with 2 cars, or increasingly now, multiple generations with multiple vehicles. To try and cool the temperature, the Residents' Association created these passes for car windows.
Someone can knock into the house and say, "Can you move the car?" And it just distinguishes who's belongs to the estate and who's not.
This is a public road though, no double yellow lines. Are you allowed to put your cone out? What's the rules there?
No, well, I mean, we don't own the road and we certainly don't own the space outside the houses. Not that we try to, but there's also a certain amount that we feel, you know, look, we live here and we should be able to park our car outside our estate. We can't park our cars in the new estates for the simple reason that you're clamped.
Storyhouse, the company that rents out the neighbouring apartments, told Primetime the development is fully compliant with parking standards and every tenant is told in advance whether their unit has parking. While taking neighbours' concerns seriously, they note they've no control over how public roads are used. In other parts of the city, where there's high-density developments, you'll find increasingly sophisticated methods of claiming parking spots. These, filmed by Primetime in West Dublin, are mechanised parking locks placed in parking spaces. The yellow arc lifts up and down. A few kilometres away, another of Dublin's new suburbs. Seven Mills in Clonburris will eventually have 5,500 homes. Lorna McAvoy bought here with her fiancé last year.
You get like a little welcome box with like a candle, like a nice little touch from the developer. And then, yeah, you're just sort of sitting there like, oh my God, is this our house?
But excitement turned to frustration as other owners and apartment tenants started to move in.
I love this house, no issues with the house. We love it. It's the parking. And it really does affect you. Like, it's on a daily basis. It's the stress of where am I going to park my car? Somebody's going to be in my spot. There's going to be confrontation. Like, nobody wants to be coming home from work dealing with confrontation with somebody over a car parking space. So we have a community WhatsApp group, and one of the subgroups in it is called Parkley Parking Issues. So that has 408 members in the WhatsApp group. On a daily basis, it is pictures of cars and registration plates saying, please move this car immediately. Can you please move your car? Thanks. Literally a daily basis as to please move your car.
Lorna's understanding of her sales contract is that she has exclusive use of the 2 spaces outside her home, but they're not in a driveway.
So we can't put anything on the curbs because South Dublin County Council owns the path, which includes the curbs. The management company is looking into putting plaques sort of down along this part of the car parking space, But again, like, I don't know how feasible or how much of a deterrent that's actually going to be. That has been ongoing with the management company since October of last year, and we still have nothing.
So anyone can come and park here?
Yeah.
Outside your house, in the space that you've paid for?
Yeah.
In a statement, developer Cairn told Primetime it's aware that some residents have been experiencing frustrations with individuals parking in spaces who are not permitted to do so. Cairn's actively engaging with South Dublin County Council, residents and the management company who have ultimate responsibility for parking management. Implementing a permanent solution such as a proactive parking management plan in order to address residents' valid concerns is a priority. But all the aggro is starting to boil over.
There's been people that have let air out of someone's tyres. There's been cars that have been keyed. People are having to put their wheelie bins in the car parking spaces when they're leaving. There's cones being put out. It's very hostile, and it's not a nice relationship to have to sort of deal with people that you have to live around.
Local TD Paul Gogarty is worried parking tensions across the constituency's new developments could get even worse.
It does turn into sometimes very heated altercations. I haven't heard of any fistfights yet, but I think it's only a matter of time, to be quite honest. What I've been saying for the last 25 years is, if you're planning housing, put checks and balances in so that the agencies have to deliver alongside the housing. That means the developers have to deliver their community facilities and the state has to provide the public transport infrastructure. But here on the Clonburris side, it's build it and they will come, and it hasn't happened.
But we're standing here, we are, 11, 12 kilometres from the city centre. There is a train station here. There are trains that go right into the middle of town. This is a really well-connected area. Not everyone needs a car.
Very few people actually work in the city centre. People need to go to creches. People need to go way down the south side to Sandyford Industrial Estate to City West. There are no bus connections to those type of places.
An extension to the DART is due to run past here. DART plus Southwest has planning permission, but not a confirmed construction date. On parking ratios, South Dublin County Council explained under the planning scheme for the area, a proportion of parking is intentionally unallocated and shared to use spaces efficiently and reinforce reduced car ownership. That approach comes from national policy. Here's what the Department of Housing guidelines say. Car parking ratios should be reduced at all urban locations and should be minimised, substantially reduced or wholly eliminated at locations that have good access to urban services and to public transport. In practice, the ratio of parking to homes in some new developments is as low as half a space per dwelling. It's about getting more homes delivered on a site and addressing climate change, according to town planning consultant Tom Phillips.
Years ago, they used to refuse schemes that didn't have sufficient car spaces. Now they will refuse schemes for having too many car spaces. The days of building one-off houses in urban areas surrounded by lots of parkland are gone. We have to build much denser units to get more people in, to get up to density. And density itself then, that leads to the need for buses. So the more people that live in an area, the better the argument is for Dublin Bus to come and bring a bus system into that area.
And if you want density, this is it. Cork's tallest apartment building, due to complete next year, will have more than 200 apartments, but zero residence car parking.
I suppose the type of Cork we're trying to develop is encouraging more people living in the inner city, but living in a particular way where we're less car dependent and other options are available and used.
People will say, that's fine. Having a building with no parking spaces is fine if the public transport is there already, but it's not.
Well, it's the chicken and the egg situation. We can't have a perfect public transport system while we have the traffic build-up. There's no magic wand, there's no click of the fingers that will say we'll have to stay in our cars until we have an alternative public transport system. We have to phase out one and phase in the other. And these developments are part of that policy.
Public transport journeys are increasing. Nationally, train travel alone is up almost 20% in just 3 years. And in Dublin, 100,000 households already don't own a car, according to the census.
And there's research that suggests new housing developments are an opportunity to change how people travel. Mobility habits crystallise at life transitions like buying a home, making it a moment to nudge towards public transport.
But it gets complicated when you factor in multi-generational living and, potentially, modular homes.
What do you do if somebody has a modular unit in your back garden? There are two people living there. Where do they park those cars? Because as currently drafted, there's nothing about car parking.
For some, it's tomorrow's potential problem. For others, it's today's reality.
And that report from Louise Byrne. Well, we're joined now by Seamus McGrath, Fianna Fáil's housing spokesperson, and by Eoin Bryn, Sinn Féin's housing spokesperson. And you're both very welcome. Thank you for coming into us this evening. Seamus, I might start with yourself. So lots of new housing in this story, which is great news, but not enough parking and not enough public transport to cater for the housing. Is this a classic case of bad planning?
Well, I suppose they're well-intentioned policies in terms of trying to develop housing, high-density developments in areas where there are good services. That's the intention. Also trying to encourage public transport and less car dependency, for example. But obviously the alignment and the implementation of those policies is critically important. And look, we have seen examples there in the clip where there are real-life challenges for people, and I fully acknowledge that and accept that. The national government sets overriding policy. The local authorities have to implement that policy, and I do think there needs to be a certain degree of flexibility there. In terms of parking policy, it is very much location dependent. If you're in the city centre development, such as the one rail yard development there in Cork City that was outlined, that's literally a 2 or 3 minute walk from Patrick Street in Cork City. So I would argue not having parking spaces there makes certain sense. But when you go further from the city and you're into suburban areas, obviously it becomes more difficult. And as I say, there are real challenges there for people. And I think it comes down to the non-alignment of policy in terms of the implementation of that policy. And that's a problem.
Well, first of all, the government is making a complete mess of this. If you look at, for example, in South Dublin, we had Clonburris and Adamstown featured in your clip. The lower ratios of car parking are predicated on the provision of high-frequency public transport, and yet both Bus Connects and Dart Plus South West have been chronically delayed. In fact, the last Minister for Transport, Eamon Ryan, gave a commitment that the Dart Plus South West, which runs right through that train station that featured there, although most trains don't stop in it currently, that would have started last year and be finished by 2030. Darragh O'Brien made the shock announcement late last year that, in fact, it's not even going to start construction until 2030-31 and not be ready till 2036. So, on the one hand, government is forcing local authorities to reduce the number of car parking spaces, but government is failing to invest in a timely manner in the provision of the public transport.
So would this policy have worked, do you think, if the DART services had gone ahead as planned? Are you in favour of the policy of reducing car parking spaces if the public transport is put in place?
The car parking policy is based on that public transport being there at the same time. So I have no issue with the policy. My problem is government is failing to invest in the public transport, and then hard-working people who are paying enormous sums of money to rent or buy into these developments are left with no alternatives but to be car dependent. And the problem is there isn't the car parking spaces.
And Seamus, you seem to be accepting that, really, that this is a bit of a mess for those people.
I recognise the reality on the ground for certain residents, of course I do. And as I said at the outset, it does come down to the timing and the implementation of policies. They're well-intentioned policies, but they need to fall,
no good to people
into place in a sequence.
So how do you make sure that happens now for the people that we're seeing there, that Louise has been speaking to, but others as well around the country who will be affected by the same policy being implemented in their area?
There clearly needs to be better coordination in terms of various agencies, for example, local government and national government. We now have the establishment of the Housing Activation Office, for example, which is creating better coordination between national and local governments, and that's very important in terms of our approved housing bodies, which would have a lot of these high-density developments as well as private developments. So coordination is important.
Explain that to me. How would that look? We'll say if this was to happen tomorrow, a big housing development being built in the same area. We know the DART's not there. It's not going to start construction until at least 2030. Are the same policies going to be implemented that you have to have a reduced number of car parking spaces or not?
First of all, in relation to the DART South West, I would dispute the 2030 timeline there. There was a debate into the Dáil only in recent weeks. My colleague, Deputy Shane Moynihan, raised that issue when Minister Darragh O'Brien gave a commitment that he would try and fast-track that. So I would dispute the 2030. But I know that's cold comfort to people living there right now.
But on the question, would this same thing happen tomorrow if there's another planning permission put in? Are the same policies going to be implemented without the public transport being in place?
There is guidance there at a national level. Local authorities have discretion and they need to use that discretion.
What does that
and I think it's very important. Well, they need to be cognizant of, for example, public transport provision in an area, the schools, availability in terms of education facilities.
So would they have to turn down the planning permission then?
Local authorities need to take those issues into account. The policy in relation to parking provision is a graduated policy and generally ranges from 1 to 2 car parking spaces per unit, depending on the availability of services. So local authorities need to take that into account in their decision-making process.
OK, would that fix the problem, Mo?
So the first thing is the Minister for Transport needs to come out and make an unambiguous statement that, in fact, contrary to what he has said to all of us in written questions, that he's going to bring forward the DART Plus Southwest as a matter of urgency. The second thing is, in those developments where people are now living and there isn't adequate public transport, we are going to need the local authorities, when those estates are taking charge, to look at appropriate increases in parking while we're waiting for the public transport. And then the third is new planning applications.
How do they do that?
So, for example, very close to Seven Mills is Kilcarby Grange, a joint venture between South Dublin County Council and private developer, 900 homes. Part of the problem there is not only the car parking ratios and lack of public transport, but the distribution of the car parking spaces is completely out of kilter with where the homes actually are. There is provision, and we've been talking with South Dublin County Council about this, that when the council takes the estate in charge, some additional car parking could be provided. That will require flexibility from government for the local authority to do that. But we also have the problem that Lorna spoke about, which is increasingly we're also getting incredible confusion because some on-street car parking is owned by the council, some by an owner's management company, some by an AHB, and it's absolute confusion. So we need...
and more confusion, actually, Seamus, in relation to the new policy from government to allow sheds to be built in people's back gardens to allow their adult children to live there. And there'll be more cars looking for more parking. Have you given any thought to that? I mean, how does that work?
Sarah, I have to push back in the description of a shade. It's not shades.
Whatever you want to call it.
These are accommodation units that will be subject to building standards and building control, and that's important. My own view in relation to that is it will largely be used for family members who are probably already living in the area.
But who probably have cars and are working.
Yes, but
where are they going to
park?
park?
In many cases, they are already living in those estates. But look, we simply have to provide additional accommodation. Our number one priority as a government is to increase housing supply, and we have seen positive indications in that.
Where are the adult children living in their parents' back garden going to park in situations like this, where parking is being reduced to, you know, half a space per person?
We fully recognise that there are parking challenges out there, but as a government we are investing heavily in terms of infrastructure to try and improve public transport availability. So the National Development Plan of over 275 billion, €1 on every 4 will be spent on transportation, so that's critically important. We have the Critical Infrastructure Bill, which is currently progressing, which is also trying to fast-track critical infrastructure. So it is about delivering the infrastructure with the developments. We all recognise that.
All right.
Anyone who's in politics recognises that's the one thing people want. They want the infrastructure with development.
But it's also the one thing that government is not doing. This government is repeating the mistakes of the Celtic Tiger.
All right.
It's housing first without the infrastructure. And until ministers start changing their decisions, those problems, as outlined by your...
You can agree to disagree and continue the conversation after the programme if you'd like. Thank you both very much for joining us.